Oh shit, it came right up. Hey!
Howdy, everybody. Welcome back to yet another super exciting episode of Fast Charging with B&B. I'm Brian.
And I am Bear,
Yeah,
working from a dead computer.
This is the simulcast, as you know. Simulcast on two of the best channels on YouTube. I don't know which ones they are, and there's literally no way of finding out. If only there was. So that's great. Speaking of technical difficulties, you were off air last week. What happened, man?
I was serving my time to the community, though I've been told to stop saying that. But yeah, I'm back, back from outer space. I totally forgot how to do this and work my computer. Or my computer was on vacation too, I guess. And it doesn't know what the hell it's doing. Because I'm not looking at us on the screen. So...
you lucky dog.
Yeah, I know, but I kind of want to know where we're at. So, and then I have to switch screens and yada yada. I didn't bring any yada with me. So until my computer unchokes itself, I do want to say to everyone who's been asking, sending me messages, tomorrow, Lucid, tomorrow, Nicola. We will be doing our flyovers then, and hopefully I'll have a working computer, because this is not working out too well right now. So,
yeah. Well, William is saying, "Get your thumbs in, boys," which I assume he means in the good way.
I hope so.
Yeah, thumbs up for the video.
I'm not sure how to take that.
You don't know how to. If you don't know how to take a thumb at your age, my friend, you are doing it all wrong. Who is this? Is asking, why is my camera flipped? Because he noticed the logo behind me is inverted on my stream, but not yours. Because Discord doesn't allow you to mirror. Because Discord is super. Yeah, this it's a big coffee cup. Big coffee cup.
That's sweet. It's still not happening. I still have no screen.
Yeah, well, and by the way, my heater is on because it is just over 42 degrees in here, which is a little chilly.
I don't know. My heater's on also because it's just about 62 degrees.
Yeah. Fail Trains did say the thumbs up is important. Gotta check for prostate cancer. Should we do the first article?
They don't use the thumb. They use the long finger.
Yeah, that's what my doctor did, is both hands on the shoulder. And then, so let's see. Genesis X convertible going into production.
Are you going right into that, huh?
Well, yes, because we're, as much as I enjoy hanging out with
I would
you.
love to show that on my screen.
Oh, well, then we can go slow and see if it ever comes up.
That would be really nice.
David is pointing, inverted on Brian's channel. Not on Bears. Yes, it's actually inverted every week. You just didn't notice because I didn't have anything with text on it that would give it away.
Yes, when I look at you on Discord, it looks just fine. So I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, Discord's all right. It's not the best.
I wonder what happens if I click on some of these other buttons. Nope.
Oh, don't do that. Oh, who knows? You got it?
Yeah. I clicked on one button. I went back to where it's supposed to be and came back to life. That is amazing.
So the Genesis X convertible is a pretty slick looking car. These lines, we were talking about it before we went on air, those are actually a light. There you go. You can see it in the second picture lit up better. Oh yeah, the other oh yeah, the gallery. That's so we Jeff and I actually saw this at the LA Auto Show. And it looks fantastic, as it should. It's a concept. If they make it. Now, the problem I have, oh boy, those at the very end is a bunch of sketches of what it should look like. If that's what it looked like, oh my gosh. But it isn't. It still looks great, and it's still not going to look that great. But the problem with this article is you see the car at the show. They ask them, oh, is this a thing that's going to be made? And they go, who knows, man? Maybe. It could be. I mean, it'd be hundreds of thousands. And then you get this article that says, it is coming out. It's 200 to 300,000. Lock it in. It's like, no, that's not what they said.
Yeah, or more, 200 or 300. Over 200 to 300.
Yeah.
and they think that they'll get a lot of Bentley Continental convertibles. You know what? I saw a whole butt ton of Bentley convertibles this past week. There was a lot in the prison that I stayed at,
Yeah.
and they were just all over the place. And I probably see like one or two a month here in Arizona, if that.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
probably saw 20 or 30
Wow.
last week.
I generally see zero Bentleys because
Don't leave the house.
I don't leave the house and I don't leave my small town that much, and my small town got no Bentleys. I shall tell you that.
Are you sure? Have you you never know.
There is a buzz fork, so I mean, stranger things
That
have
is,
happened.
if you got a Buzz Forks in your neighborhood or in your community, you've got to have a Bentley convertible somewhere because they only made what 200 of those Buzz Forks.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 2,200. I saw a great debate. Somebody was saying, "Well, Tesla can't ramp up their manufacturing," and I was looking at it, going, "Really?" Because they're ramping fine. I don't know what the rate of other people ramping. Well, right, but Toyota has no problem ramping. The hell you say? 2,200 Buzz Forks is not a lot of cars. And, well, yeah, but they can ramp their gas cars.
Is that how many?
Can they?
Was it 2,200 or?
I think it was.
Okay,
I think it was.
because
Ever.
they must have had at least one of the cars have the wheel fall off, right? At least one.
Oh, yes, for sure.
And when you think about recalls, it's usually like 300,000 cars were produced, and this happened on 20 cars. So the percentage is like 0.00001, something crazy that you might actually be affected by that recall. So they made 2,200, and they had at least one car. That's a really bad percentage.
That's a really high one. That's a really high one.
Bad and high are both not good.
No. But that's all the news we had this week. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it.
See you next week.
Like
We'll
it.
skip the flyover
Don't like,
tomorrow.
don't subscribe. No. Do you know that the Ioniq 6 is out, revealed at least? 361 miles of range.
That is outstanding. Outstanding number there.
Mm-hmm.
Though a loaded all-wheel drive dual motor drops the range down to 270. That's pretty significant for adding another motor and all-wheel drive.
That's outrageous. That's too much. That's a very strange efficiency drop. I just like in the picture that this man behind the car is clearly an angel.
Yeah, he's got a halo. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if he knows that.
Well, not all angels wear halos. I don't know, man. What do you think of this?
The range?
No, the car itself.
Oh, the car?
I mean, yeah.
My wife actually saw a commercial of this last week, and she's like, "Ooh, what's that?" And I said, "Oh, that's the Ioniq 6." And they showed a picture of the interior. I said, "See, it looks just like the Ioniq 5 that we have." And she goes, "Oh," and she deflated right there.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, still has twice as many cup holders as a Polestar.
More than twice.
Oh, really?
It's more than. Well, Polestar has one functional.
Well, I'm looking at two.
Oh. Well,
There is a picture.
I didn't make it to the inside. The Polestar only has a half a functional cup holder, so
That's. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because of the armrest.
because the armrest will crush your drink. So yeah, okay, well that is two, but they did. I'm trying to think how many the Ioniq 5 has. I can only think of the two that's like right in the front, but they're like front and center. They may have the door cup holders, unlike the Polestar that has enough space for a half a pack of cigarettes in their doors. Not that I have a half a pack of cigarettes.
Last week, I had an interesting comment saying, Brian, you and Bear show slightly different stuff on the screen at slightly different times. You guys should really work to synchronize it. Maybe get it like a slideshow or something. And I was like, I kind of think it works this way. What do you think?
I don't. As well, better that it might look. though that sentence was not well or better. That would require an immense amount of time on Brian's part to put together the spreadsheet that I would fail to get done because I can't even remember what day of the week it is.
Yeah. Jeff says it works. I agree. I think this works. And yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So the Ioniq 6, I think it looks good. I'm excited about the range. You know, Hyundai and Kia have their struggles, but they're going to make it, I think.
I think that they are. As much as I dislike the Ioniq 5, and I don't dislike it that much, just some of the functions make it a crappy EV. I think that's something that easily could be worked out, but the car itself seems very well built.
Yeah, they're headed in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
What about Mary Leds?
Mary Led, here comes a new hybrid that nobody would expect. The new Corvette E-Ray is a hybrid, and it's going to have all-wheel drive, which is a nice new feature for a sports car, because that is something that works out very well. It is actually sporting the Z06 body, so that makes it a little bit wider, because the tires on this car are wider than a standard Corvette Stingray. So they use the Z06 body. The price is going to be about the same, the base price, as a Z06, which, in case you don't know, a Corvette Z06, a V8 ICE engine that is supercharged and giving it much more, well, a decent amount more of power. Not a whole lot when it comes down to the numbers, but it's about $20,000 more than a regular Corvette. This car is going to cost about the same of the Z06, and it will be lightly faster. And it's got a couple other things that come with it, some of which I don't like.
Failtrain said, it's just what customers have always wanted. Twice the complexity, 75% of the performance.
No, it'll be faster. It will be better.
Is it a plug-in?
No, it is not.
Yeah.
Though it has the option to work as a plug-in, sort of. It can go all electric. There is a stealth mode where you can go all electric.
I see the width of the tires. Those are serious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
It is quite the car. From what Mr. DeMuro says, and yes, we're borrowing his video. Thank you, Doug, but we're just promoting you because everybody should go watch this video. It's an interesting video, and it's a good video. The car was originally designed to be a hybrid when they first released it 3 years ago, and they left space for the batteries. It's underneath the center console, and
wow.
in the current variation, it is empty. There's nothing there, and the space that they have is finally being used for the batteries. So that was part of a long-term plan by Mary, and we appreciate her doing that.
It's nice that if they're putting them in the drivetrain column, as it were, that's a nice place in terms of keeping your center of gravity.
Mm-hmm.
That will make this a little bit harder to flip. Andrew Jameson wants to know, has it got castings? And the answer is yes. It's got mini castings like a normal car. Mm-hmm. It does not have mega castings. Nobody else in the U.S. is using those yet, apart from the Big T.
The Big T. Wow.
Mm-hmm. That's what I call it. We're on a first letter basis.
Oh, well, who's little T? Gonna be Toyota, but that's...
Oh, it's gotta be.
That's maybe an article for later. We should have segued that one. We could have
segued
been the crap
that would have been good, but we blew it, Bear.
Yeah, we did.
We blew it.
You
Anybody?
got a good segue for the next one?
I don't. You know who sucks?
And I was like, well, this doesn't really suck. You know what sucks? Is that the Mach-E, they dropped the price, and anybody who recent purchasers of the Mach-E will get that price difference back.
Is that true?
That is true. So I saw that, and I was reading the article yesterday, and I'm scrolling. I'm like, I'm going to get some money back. And I'm like, Oh, if you purchase it after January 1st. Oh, now I hate Ford. I hate them. How could they drop the price?
Right? Got to start a petition to make 1,000,000 demands.
Yes. Yeah,
So
so
yeah, the beauty is, while Tesla can drop the price and remain profitable on electric vehicles made in California and Texas, Ford is still losing money on a more expensive EV made in Mexico.
now that may not be totally correct. There was some comments by Ford saying that they are making a profit now on these cars.
Well, what I saw was that the executive said we will be losing money on some models.
Like the one I bought.
Why?
Why are they losing money on it?
On that particular one.
Because I got a discount. No, because
Oh.
they don't have all the options and crap that get added in.
Ah.
Ford is very good at if you're building a vehicle, just like a 9 million different types of options that are overpriced for what they are. Not super overpriced, but overpriced for what they are. And that's where they make a lot of their money is adding those options into the cars. But there's always like dozens of buttons, different trim levels to select on, and they all cost money. Uh, so
What
un-
what annoys
unlike
me
the Big T.
most is when safety is behind a paywall. Like my Nissan doesn't have blind spot indicators.
Yes.
That's the next trim level up. It doesn't have heated side mirrors. That's the next trim level up. Those are, to me, basic safety issues, man. Why would you put those it's... And for
Well,
that matter, Tesla's going to run into this at some point in the future because FSD is safer than a car without it. And if safety is paramount, don't charge me 15 grand.
good point. Good point.
They do have to make money. They do have to pay for the R&D, but
After that, it's software and a little bit of hardware, which the hardware's already there.
right. Yeah. 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 So yeah, Ford is cutting price. Got a bunch of comments saying price battles. And yeah, price battles are great. This is what we wanted. This was the objective was for competition to drive price decreases.
Yes.
And maybe we're there.
And that's what Barron seems to think. An all-out Game of Thrones battle is coming. Are you gonna pick the Starks? Don't pick the Starks.
I made it through like 1.5 episodes, and I just couldn't get over the scenes with Aquaman's hog. So that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's your loss.
That is my loss. But I'm good.
Spoiler alert: they all die at the end.
Well, that's life for you, baby.
Well, yeah, life ends.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So GM is not planning on joining this price cutting bonanza because they think they're already priced appropriately. And when you think about it, they are all priced. If you're pricing them by the market, they are all. They could even go higher because the demand is still there for these cars. They're not sitting on the lot gathering dust, but they are lowering the prices because they want to keep market share. But GM with the $27,000 Bolt plus tax incentives makes it nearly free.
Very attractive, yeah.
No, it's not. The car is not very attractive.
Well, are they? I mean, they're still selling everyone they make.
Yes, because it's something that fits into someone's budget, and if it fits into the budget, people are going to settle for things that are just plain ugly.
Oh, sure. It's all compromise. Do you know what the horsepower is on the Buzzforks? It comes in 2 models. Something like 198 horses and something like 208 ponies. It's not serious. I mean, I think my Nissan has 240. So
My lawnmower had 27.
Yeah, so that's very cool. Hello,
Yeah.
JJ. You made it.
Yeah,
Oh no,
JJ
you weren't
was
here
over
earlier.
here, but I think I
Oh
didn't
yeah, no,
respond
he's
to him.
he's
So,
he's he's in both. I apologize, JJ. You were there earlier.
okay.
Oh, so yeah, new car prices are down,
Are they?
aren't they? I
Well,
mean,
maybe just for them, but on a used car, they are definitely down,
oh,
especially if it's a Tesla.
y'all.
Yeah. So that price drop on the Model Y cost me about $18,000. I would agree with the number that Inside EVs is saying.
What do you mean
Uh,
cost you?
Cost me because the value of my Model Y dropped overnight.
Aw, were you planning on flipping it?
Well, it's part of my evaluation that I use on my cars that are designed to make money and not lose money.
Hmm.
So the value of all my cars is taken into account when I buy them and when I sell them. So when the price drops $16,000 overnight, which was what the Model Y dropped for my model, and yeah, it's relevant. I'm not mad at anybody because at the same time, it went up $16,000.
Right, right. So I was looking at when I saw this, I was like, "Wow, the prices went down." And so I went on Auto Trader and put on I don't know, a 200-mile limit or something like that. And the number of clowns out there still trying to sell their threes and Ys for more than they're worth new is outrageous.
You want to see clowns, all you need to do is go into a dealership. Almost every used car out there is still priced higher than a new car. And I I was in a dealership 2 weeks ago. I'm like, why is this car with $40,000, 40,000 miles on it, the same price as this car brand new? Well, that's what they listed it for. Like, well,
Well, you
actually,
make here, make me
ma-
an offer. Do the Foursquare.
yeah, he said, well, that's what we bought it at. I'm like, I don't care. If I
That sounds like a you problem, my
Yeah.
friend.
If I'm bringing in a trade and go, well, that's what I bought it at. You guys have to pay this. Well, no, we don't. I'm like, and I don't have to buy your car. But unfortunately, they get people in there that just don't know what a car should be priced at.
I was in China and I was buying some produce, and I said, "Oh, I'll take just like one pear." And she tells me through the interpreter, "Oh, there's a minimum of 1 kilogram." And I said, "There's no minimum. That's not a thing. You're a person. You're on the side of the road. You're selling fruit. So there's no minimum. The minimum is 0. So I'd
Yeah.
like to buy more than that." And by the way,
You
they
were,
say never buy produce on the side of the road because they sell it by weight. So they inject it with with dangerous water because
there goes our
infras-
ratings. There goes
yeah,
our ratings.
because anyway, you could get food poisoning from the water they inject to add weight to it, and I can tell you that whole thing is absolutely true, and you will get sick as a dog.
Well, is it better to buy from the side on the side of the road in China or go to a wet market?
I have not tried the fresh,
Bat.
artisanal, local, organic, homegrown bat.
Or
So,
homegrown bat. Put it on a stick. Meat on a stick. I always wanted to have bat on a stick.
anybody else struggling?
Struggling, it might be an understatement. Toyota has somehow forced, I'm not going to say forced, but somebody convinced Mr. Toyota with a D to step down in April. And let
Now that
some,
makes, I don't believe it. His grandfather founded the company. Surely he can stay as long as he wants.
well, I think he's 112.
No, he's not. He's not. Uh, the problem is, and he has chosen to resign, which is what you do when you are
Lying.
when you're lying. I mean, we're going to allow you to resign. So that's
Yeah.
great.
Yes, definitely think that he must have been forced out because of Toyota's always been very capable of being on the leading edge. of things as far as a standard consumer car. I mean, I'm not talking about Bentleys or anything like that.
Right.
And they they've always been up there, and now they're with their current strategy of let's do nothing and see how it plays out. Doesn't seem to be a good bet. You could go all in on EVs, lose a couple $1 billion, and maybe it turns out you were right. Everybody still wants gas cars, a source of fuel that will eventually run out at some point, or will eventually cost more, or will continue to pollute the planet with no viable ways of making it cleaner. But let's just you got to pick a direction, I guess, and there's a right way and a wrong way.
The nice thing is, he was allowed to resign, and he did choose to resign rather than be forced out. So he didn't go the Papa John route, which is nice. Hopefully, this will allow them to move into the future, for crying out loud.
Yeah, and I believe this article states that they're still not expected to get their EVs going until 27, 28, which is kind of late. And their probably best strategy is to go, hey Chrysler, what can you do to help us? Since they really want to seem to fail. They seem to be on a Jay Leno type of suicide rampage, as he seems to want to kill himself also lately.
I was surprised to see, for those who didn't hear, Jay Leno, in addition to getting gasoline burning on his face, has crashed his motorcycle and has broken bones, reportedly. What is going on, Jay? Hope you're well.
Yeah,
maybe
I do too. But you know what? You gotta understand one thing. He's enjoying his life. Hopefully, he doesn't end it by having an accident. Which, by the way, my friends voted me most likely to die by falling. So I will probably die like in some sort of Jay Leno manner.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear the news of Acura?
Say that again?
Acura.
I bet that's probably how it's said, isn't it?
It probably is. I have no idea.
If it was, it would be a whole lot cooler. Why did they put a nasty looking Honda?
The ugliest Honda I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because it looks the most like an EQS. EQB. I don't know. Those new Mercedes are... I feel like they're doing it on purpose.
The letters?
Well, no, I just mean they're ugly as hell.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a friend in Arizona who hates car dealers. So he'll be delighted to know that starting in 2024, Acura will sell its electric vehicles exclusively online.
Well, damn right. Your friend is smart. Let me tell you that.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
He's probably good looking, too. But,
well,
hats off to Acura. Now, in my neck of the woods, we might see a Bentley every once in a while, but we don't see Acuras too. You know what? We do see Acuras, but they kind of blend in like a tree in the background. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Their NSX is something that's cool.
Yeah.
But all the Acura cars kind of just go, they don't have. They're nice
something. Hondas.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see that one car dealer or one car manufacturer has figured out a way to eject the dealership model. I'm not sure how they've done that, but if they're going to do it, hats off to them, because the only thing that's going to happen is in the immediate future, it's going to help them with sales, because people are going to go, I could just order this online. There's not going to be some sweaty, smelly, meth head salesman who's 18 years old trying to get me to buy a paint protection package. Okay.
I disagree. He'll still do that. They'll still do that when you go to pick it up. Mm-hmm. But
and then then they're going to tell you, well, we already installed it. You have to pay for it.
Well, those absolute.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, By the way, I did want to say Andrew Jameson is in the chat today. Andrew is going to be meeting us near London. And I say us, Andrew, because in case we didn't make it clear, Bear is also going to be a speaker at Fully Charged in Farnborough at the upcoming Fully Charged event.
Fact check true. I am going to be there. And one of the people on the panel that I am going to be on with is, I believe, Sam, the Electric Viking, who is a notorious Nikola hater. So it'd be interesting to have a conversation with him about that. I'm not sure that we will. I don't know how this whole thing is going to play out. But, I could take a bunch of questions from the Nikola viewers and say, what would you like to ask the Electric Viking? But
yeah.
He won't answer them. I won't either if I was.
I think the panel's going to be called Biker v Viking. Bear does Europe.
Do you know where he's from?
Who? Oh, no.
The Electric
No, I don't. No, I don't.
I need to out Viking him.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure how I can. But
well, I mean, you start with pillaging. And yeah.
You know what? When I cut the hair on the sides like I normally do every month or so, maybe I can put in some Viking tattoos, and because you just grow it out when you don't want people to see how stupid you are to get a head tattoo. Can always go with that. Go, you don't have tattoos on your head. What kind of Viking are you?
So apparently he's from Melbourne. William says he's from Deenunda.
Is that in Australia?
Deenunda.
Down under.
Well, he spelled it phonetically. I assume that's just how they pronounce it there. Deenunda. Interesting. So yeah, you just need to braid your beard like a real man.
Oh yeah, I should braid it.
By the way, earlier Raymond had asked, I think it was Raymond, had asked, any chance of Giga Osaka? And I still believe the answer to that is yes. I still believe. My numbers, the math works for a Japanese gigafactory. But we'll see.
We shall see.
We shall see. How are we doing on time? Pretty good.
Oh, we're actually sucking because we're going to run out of articles before we run out of time.
Nah. I do a Friday at Fridays at noon. I'm typically on Herbert's channel, Brighter with Herbert. And every Friday he goes, oh man, I just don't know if we have 15 minutes worth of topics to discuss. And every Friday I say, one topic is 30 minutes when you got me.
Wow, because you are just full of puns and innuendos and occasional F-bombs now.
So on the quarterly earnings, I made a pretty quality joke that really comes at you in waves, but
nobody laughed.
I'm not. Oh, make you laugh? Well, I
said nobody will laugh, but go ahead.
Nobody will laugh. Oh well, no. They laughed. No, I was explaining that. The question was, does Elon's Twitter antics stand the chance to diminish long-term sales? And I said, as long as the backlog is not satisfied before people's short-term memory expires, Tesla will be fine. Because people famously forget all of the bad things. Time heals all wounds. Dieselgate is not a factor, really, for almost any buyers out there. And what I pointed out is that Henry Ford famously was kind of a big fan of that guy in Germany who wasn't very popular, and their sales are fine. And for that matter, Volkswagen was founded by the guy in Germany who wasn't that popular, and their sales are fine. But to his credit, the founder of Volkswagen did kill Hitler. So, I mean, that's worth something.
I heard he killed himself, unless you're saying he produced the bullet or something.
Oh no, the joke is that a lot of people don't realize that A, who founded Volkswagen, and B, that you gotta give credit where credit's due. He did kill Hitler. So anyway, do you know that new peak rates means charging electric cars is more expensive? That was the joke. People loved it, man. People loved it.
Hey, when we finish up, you explain that to me.
See, my jokes aren't for everyone, Bear. So this
Okay.
article, I take some issues with it, and I imagine you might as well.
Go ahead, because I never got a chance to read it because I forgot it was Tuesday.
So, new peak rates mean charging electric cars more expensive than petrol. Rapid charge points cost nearly 10 pounds more than filling up. So this is... Yeah, this is...
Stupid.
Stupid. This is taking the absolute most expensive possible juice and comparing it to the absolute cheapest electric gasoline, the most efficient, fuel efficient internal combustion engine. It's intentionally misleading.
It's super intentionally misleading. By the way, in the last, let's call it 2 months, I've been to a charging station where I had to purchase electricity one time. I don't go to them, and which, by the way, I still had a free charging plan from the purchase of a vehicle, so I was able to use that and not pay. So even if I did, it would have been one time over the last 2 months. So you're taking the most unusual circumstances where you have to purchase electricity from a supercharger. And most people who own EVs currently are going to have a solution for themselves. People do it to top off. They do it to just make sure they have enough or not to damage their battery, but they're not on a regular. Most people, I'm sure there's exceptions, are not going to a supercharger every couple of days because they have no other options.
Yes. At the bottom of the article, it says, further analysis shows that the cheapest way is to recharge at home. Government energy price cap means the cost of topping up could be as little as 7.6p per mile. Pennies. Pound, centipounds.
Well,
And
okay.
by the way, in the comments, it's been pointed out. I'm not sure that England uses gas. I think they're powered with tea.
That's a fact check. True. Yeah, that is that. Yeah, that's been fact checked, and that is a fact.
Pence, by the way, it was pointed out. It's pence. It's 7.6 pence.
What did you say the first time?
Centipennies. Do non-Tesla's EVs get billed more for using a supercharger in Europe? That's a good question.
Well, I
don't
believe
know.
Tesla sets the price, don't they?
Yes, they do. But do they charge non-Teslas more than Teslas? I'm not sure.
I heard that was a possibility of that happening.
For sure. In the U.S., what I saw was that what they would like to do is say, if you don't wish to use the app, it's 20% more, and if you use the app, all you do is you pay $5 a month for an app membership, and then it's cheaper, and then Tesla gets your data because data is king. So, yeah,
Well, they really want to know where all the dirty stores I went to are. I mean, they can find that on Google Maps.
What? I don't think that's what they want to know. I think they want to know what vehicle you have, how many miles it has, how much you drive, so that when it comes time to sell you a car, it's tailor-made. And they can actually just push a notification in your app saying, hey, I noticed your Polestar is getting close to out of warranty. Why don't you trade it in on a brand new Cyber Donkey, which is the model they will have at that point, I assume.
I already have a Cyber Donkey, so thanks for calling. I've already got one.
Oh, okay. We told him we've already got one. We watched that yesterday. My 12-year-old hadn't seen it.
All right. So, speaking of Cyber Donkey, one of my other favorite things is TNA.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
I have to take a minute. That was okay. Travel Centers of America and Electrify America partner to offer Travel Electric America charging stations.
There's a lot of words in there. So yeah, they're going to be partnering together to basically install 1,000 individual chargers at about 200 locations along major highways. I think it's pretty cool. Glad they're doing it. Uh, a lot of them are going to have speeds up to 350, which is what is needed. None of this 50 or 150 crap. Uh, I want to see 800 out here soon. So you guys making that shit work a little faster, please. But I don't
Yeah.
think 1,000 is enough. I think they should. I don't know how many locations TCA has, or TA, or whatever they are. Um, but I think they should just really sign up for as much as they possibly can. Or maybe that just looks like the good locations for it to start off with, and maybe more would become. The only problem that they have is they're buying Electrify America stations. Oh,
Well, it's entirely possible that now that Electrify America knows that they're not a compliance company, now that they're going to be around in the future and need to behave accordingly, it's entirely possible that they've got their design philosophy sorted out. I have not
hope
seen
so.
evidence to suggest that that is definitely the case. It would be reasonable if that's the case. Now, we're not going to see mega charger type speeds. There was an article in Motor Trend where they got to review the Tesla semis, and they went out to Pepsi and they got 84 pictures on there. And one of them, apparently the charging cable is about as thick as a pop can.
Oh, jeez.
So that's
It's
maybe
like
not something you want to put on every station.
that's like a fire hose.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so quick Electrify America story. Yesterday, when I charged at Electrify America, and I had the need to because I had a car come in and then it's going out a couple hours later, so I had to get a fast charge. Had to, no choices. Um, I was able to plug in, charge, reach my 30 free minutes with the one car plan I have, switch it to the other car, free car plan, charge, and it worked without a problem, except for one issue. I had to drive an extra 20 miles to get to this charging station because the one that is close by is under construction, being remodeled or something. And now this station, which is close to where I keep my cars at, has 8 stalls. They've got it fenced off. They're doing some construction. They have a couple 350s in there already, so I imagine it can't be that old of a station. I hope they're not removing it because I literally had to drive 20 miles from the center of Phoenix. Yeah, busy place. I mean, should be ample need for it, but I had to drive about 20 miles to get to it. But it worked without a problem once I finally got there.
Well, as was pointed out by John, isn't it much cheaper to install charging stations if they don't work? The best
That,
charger is no charger.
yeah. You know, someone just needs to reinvent the solar panel to actually collect more sunlight. I think that would fix all the problems. Yeah,
Well, there's a
look at
limit
them.
to how many photons hit the ground per square whatever.
I
So,
understand that, but that's what they need to figure out, how to multiply the photons. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm a doctor.
oh, are you? Are you?
You don't want to
Interesting.
know what of.
Speaking of which, that reminded me. Somebody was saying what you should do with the with the Cyber Donkey is get the holiday light show on it, so you can have a Cyber Donkey show.
I just need a song where there's a squealing donkey.
You've been to Mexico a bunch of times. You know
I
all
lived
about
across the
those.
street from somebody who had a donkey, and that noise that they would make when they were making that noise was quite the noise. I'm going to leave it at
So,
that.
why won't Wyoming build EV chargers?
Why won't they? Well, they've got a lot of reasons. They will build them, but they want to build them where they think would be best suited to be built. The government has said if you want additional funds down the road, you've got to build them where no one will use them, where it will take about 20 years to recoup the cost of building them and for them to actually turn into profitable charging stations. Otherwise, the basic gist is the government has decided that these charging stations that each state has to put in has to be every 50 miles. And if that means you are in the middle of absolutely nowhere, that's where it has to go. Which means, one, there's no electricity there to begin with, or very minimal, probably not enough to power these, you know, these are 150 or above, 150 kilowatt or above chargers. So getting power out to these places is going to be extremely expensive. The government will pay 80% of those costs, but after that, they're kind of on their own to maintain them. And Wyoming says no one's going to want to build a rest stop there. No one's going to want to put a convenience store or restaurant because there's nothing there. And they have these areas that date all the way back to the railroad times. I told you the story was interesting, but I know you didn't read it. You never read my stories.
That's right.
You're like my work wife.
Oh, wow.
So going back to the railroads, they used to have rail stations every 100 miles because that's how far the trains could go before they had to stop for more coal, for maintenance, and things like that.
For water is what they needed.
Water to burn, with the coal to run the steam engines. So they have a lot of areas where there's a town and there's no town for 100 miles. And then you go another 100 miles before you get to your next town. And Wyoming's never filled in the blanks. And looking at Wyoming's EV registration, they're at 500 registered EVs in the state. They've got a very sparse population over a very wide area. And the government says, well, you have to put these charging stations here. Wyoming says, well, we'll put them in, but we'd like to put them around like Yellowstone and put them in the national parks where people might actually use them. And we'll get to this. We'll get to the other ones at a later time. They did a cost analysis of it, and because of what it would cost for the electricity to build it, to maintain it, to make sure that they're still working, to clean off the occasional graffiti from when Brian comes through, or Brian and his kids, I should say.
That's right.
It will take into the 2040s before these charging stations that are actually on the highway are turning a profit, and the government will not be paying for it, or the federal government will not be. The state government will. So they just want to put them where they think it would be best suited. What do you think? You think I'm stupid?
Well, I think there's a lot of routes that they would still qualify for. You don't have to cover all the empty roads. I think it's smart to definitely... We've seen a lot of companies build things just for the sake of building them that don't help, and then you're 5 years down the road and you end up tearing them out. We've seen cities that put in level 1 chargers and took up a bunch of parking spaces that will never be used and haven't been used. And Wyoming is tough to fill. What's the population of Wyoming, you imagine, Bear?
I imagine it's about 541,293.
Okay, and what's the population of Chandler, Arizona?
A little bit less than that.
275, 276. So you've got half the population of Wyoming in your suburb of Phoenix.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, Chandler, Gilbert, the area that I'm in, we could probably use a couple more charging stations in the entire state of Wyoming could, as far as their interstate route.
Yeah.
The federal government is not bending an inch. Any of the states that have said, hey, we really would like to put our charging stations here, they said, no exceptions, and denied their request.
Yeah. Well, they're afraid they're going to spill the electrons, Bear. Did you know that GM...
You can't spill electrons, but you can spill lithium.
You can.
Better segue.
Yeah, both were pretty terrible. GM to invest 650 millis in a lithium company to support its EV business.
Yeah, that's a pretty hefty investment. And apparently they get like first choice on the lithium. They go first, which is probably going to make it worth it. So they are trying to tie up the market. And we all know that Tesla's done the same thing. And it's a good move. Lock in your contracts. Get your lithium here before anybody else does. before they're selling it on the street corner.
Well, lithium is an impossible market to corner because it's everywhere and everyone makes it. But this is nice because it's domestic, it's local. The only question is if it's going to be cost effective, and that's to be determined. You remember what Tesla did with the machines that make batteries? Do you know about that?
Oh, why don't you tell us?
Maxwell Technologies? No. Groman Technology? That's the one.
Okay.
Groman is a company that makes the machines that makes batteries. And Tesla bought them. And when the contracts were up for renewal with BMW and Mercedes, this German firm, the CEO of it, who stayed on to run the place, was like, we're renewing them. We're just renewing those contracts. And Tesla said, no, we're not. And he said, then I'll leave.
Ooh.
Well, take care. Take care. Let me know if you need a reference. And yeah, so Tesla bought the company that makes all the battery equipment. So yeah. Yeah. Groman made the squirty bits.
Wow.
Yes, but they also made battery stuff.
By the way, I gotta read you this line that's in this article because I know you'll get a good chuckle at it. Barra said GM is on track to produce 400,000 EVs from 2022 through the first half of 2023 in North America.
Oh no, is she on crack?
Was this article written 2 years ago?
Because I'm gonna go out on a limb and say no. You're not. No, you're not, Mary.
Did they do like, was it 12 or 22,000 bolts in the last quarter? And
I don't know
like,
how many bolts they did.
well, that was obviously their highest producing EV. And then you had, let's say, less than 1,000 of the Hummers. No, it was probably less than 500 of the Hummers and the Lyric. Now, this says from 2022, so that's all of last year, plus this quarter and the next quarter.
Five more months. We got 5 months to get to 400,000.
And they need about 350,000 EVs.
I think that's about as likely as a Hummer EV in a color other than white.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, okay. So there was a link there.
To 400 EVs?
Yeah.
I'll play your game. This is brand new.
Yeah, it is.
Are you
Chevy
joking
Bolt saw
me,
record
Mary?
sales. They were the best-selling mainstream EVs in the second half of 2022. The best-selling. Are they just talking about GM products? Because otherwise that's a flat-out lie,
Huh.
right?
They led the U.S. industry in total. Okay, well, I mean, the Chevy Bolt and Bolt EUV saw record sales, and we plan to increase production to more than 70,000 this year for global markets. Mary, what are you doing? I don't know.
They're so bad at math.
Well, and this is going to be a breakout year for the Ultium platform, which is great because, I don't know if you know, they've changed the batteries that are going into it. Did you hear that? They abandoned pouch.
Something about they're not doing this. They're going to cylindrical.
Yes.
Even though their pouch was supposed to be so much better.
Yes. It turns out the Ultium was actually the penultium. It's the second to last platform they'll ever need. And who knows? Maybe they'll start making a vehicle or two. Probably not 3. Or they could get up to 7 and call it the Lyric, because that's how many of those they made through Q4.
I bought one. No, I didn't. Just kidding.
Yeah.
These numbers don't even make sense. And you got CNBC. Aren't they supposed to be like reputable, fact-checking, anything?
What? Maybe. Oh, well, I feel like we got a couple things we should get through before we get to the end. I've got great news. I've got great news for you, Bear. Level 3 has arrived.
By who?
Mercedes-Benz, Bear. Go out, get one. Level 3. You can take your eyes off the road. You can text. You can email all you want.
So can I do that like, well, driving on the freeways, or is it local roads, or?
Oh, it's great. It's anywhere you want as long as it's a divided highway that's been pre-mapped in Nevada. Now, Nevada's technically approved and the other 49 are not. They hope to get it approved by the end of the year in California. So 2 states down, not bad. And yeah, you can use it on the highway at any speed.
Any speed? Like
up to 40. So if it's got a posted, yeah, go ahead.
I don't live on a divided highway, so I couldn't use it in.
Yeah. It's okay. You'll use it when you go to Nevada. The whole state is highway, man. And as long as there's a car in front of you going under 40, hey, baby, you're good to go.
Well, that seems a little restrictive. Is there any other restrictions?
Well, okay. I mean, normal ones. It doesn't work in the rain or the snow or the fog or direct sunlight. But other than that, yeah, it works great. It works flawlessly all the time, every time. Oh, no on-ramps or off-ramps, no lane changes. But other than that, yeah.
Will it work? So it works like on a drag strip?
No. It's got to be one of these very few highways that's pre-mapped and pre-approved. It has to have a posted speed limit of like 60 to 80 and be going under 40. If it hits 40, when this baby gets up to 40 miles an hour, it disengages. And it has to be a 2024 model, as this points out. And there can't be curves or banks in the road. But other than that, and it has to be like a $140,000 car with an option added to it. But other than that, Bear.
Wait a minute. Did Mercedes hire Mary Barra? That's the kind of math that seems to be working here.
It's so dumb. This is what Elon talks about when he said, we're trying to avoid the local maximum. Any car company, the difference between level 2 and 3 is that Mercedes is taking on the liability here. Anybody could make this system work. Subaru has adaptive lane control, lane keeping. This would perform exactly like that. This is not good. And be like, well, yes, but this is the first step. They're going to up the speed to 60 and they're going to expand it to surface streets. No, they're not. The processor in this car can't handle that. Are you insane? No, this is buddy, it's been out for a year in Germany. This is the same old trash. Give me a break. Yeah, 40 on a Nevada highway? Come on, it's ridiculous.
Okay, so if Tesla came out with all of this, if they came out with level 5 automation, but it could only go up to 5 miles per hour, what do you think? You think this would be like on Business Insider as a serious article? Or do you think it would be trashed by everyone?
It would be here, it'd be serious, and it would be critical. And it would be, how dare you, you're murdering people.
At 5 miles per hour.
At 5 miles per hour.
You're running over kids who can't get out of the way of a slow-moving car.
Yeah. Yeah. So this isn't any kind of self-driving. This is traffic jam assist. That's it. So it's exciting.
It is exciting, but it's not going to happen, and it's not real. And we're running out of time, so we really need to talk about, actually it was probably the biggest news all week out of everything that we have. There was a rumor of Lucid being the 40% that is not owned by the Saudis being owned by the Saudis, and the stock price doubled in a day. And then went back down when somebody realized that somebody bribed someone to put out a false story. But we don't know if it was a false story or not, but I'm just making
And it didn't go down all the way.
No, it
went
not.
down. It doubled and then it pulled back, 20-30%. So it's still...
Yeah. It's still higher than it was a week ago.
Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
I still think it's very possible that the Saudis go, yeah, we'll buy it, and pick up the rest of the company.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say I don't know what the benefit is, But do you know what Saudi Aramco's profit was last year? Tesla's annualized profit is what, like 12 billion or something? 300 billion. 300 billion is what Saudi Aramco's was.
Exactly what I was going to guess.
Really?
If you're going to say guess, you got to give someone a chance to
true.
guess. You know,
That's true.
But I was actually going to say 500 billion.
Oh, guess what number I'm holding up?
7. It was those ratings again. Son of a bitch. Hey, if we don't care about ratings anymore, can I vape? Is that cool? Because this is like the longest hour of my week.
Yeah, where's my crack pipe? Oh, I don't have
Sitting
one.
on it. You thought it was your
Sitting
thumb.
on it. Wow, this has gone off the rails. Fair.
All right. Well, anyway, I think the Saudis, why they would want to own the company is because then they can do whatever the hell they want and they don't have to worry about answering to shareholders. And that's the main reason you want to be private. They don't need the cash. They don't need it burning a hole in their pocket. I'm sure the interest rate's not that good on wherever they have their money tied up into. But if they had a profit of $300 billion,
Right.
you got enough money to throw out there. A couple billion more, you get the whole company.
And when you have that kind of money, it's a cheap Hail Mary. Maybe it's Bears. Jeff says Jeff says best Saudi car ever.
In fact,
It
that's
is
true again.
Yeah. Samuel has been leaving comments on old videos of mine, including saying things like, I bet you're wondering why I'm watching all these old videos. And apparently, Samuel just finished watching all my old videos. Samuel, that's a commitment. That's a lot of time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tesla could easily buy GM, but they wouldn't. Oh, yeah.
That's also true. I don't know what they could possibly get out of buying GM. I mean, honestly, you've got all these facilities that are improperly run. And you've got to restructure everything. You've got to get rid of the dealerships, which would be a legal fight. I mean, there would be so much work to do. Half the people would leave because they're like, I don't like Elon. He hurt my feelings.
So I got to point this out. Raymond had a very good idea. If the Saudis are going to be funding Lucid, if a Lucid gets stuck in the sand, they could offer free camel towing to get them out of the sand.
My God, that is like the best name ever for a towing service. The best name ever.
Yeah, that's a gold star for you, Raymond.
Yeah, give him one for me also. Give him 2.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're 6 minutes over, even though we started 3 minutes late.
Yeah, so we're barely over.
Barely. All right, well, I
Very
want to
good
thank
stuff.
all my Patreons, even though they probably didn't even show up. I mean, that's not true. I saw a couple of them. And I thank you for being here. I appreciate everyone putting up with my absinthe. And I will have videos coming out tomorrow with both Nicola and Lucid, and I'm not sure which one we're going to live stream. Maybe I'll find some time, and maybe we'll do both. I don't know. We'll see how the first one goes. Maybe we'll do a second.
Yeah, and I, of course, thank everybody. I thank you, Bear. I haven't talked to you in 2 weeks. I was starting to wonder what the heck, and, so this is great. We're back on track, and pretty soon we'll both be out of towns again and have to figure more stuff out. But I think we've got this settled into a pretty good rhythm.
I think we do. Yeah, the rhythm is I start off being late, and then I don't even want to say what you do.
All right.
But maybe next week we should go with the all smoking and all drinking episode.
Oh yeah,
All
that's a great
smoking,
idea.
drinking, and swearing, and see if our numbers go up.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll have to find because I was showing Bear before the show started. I got this collection of my beer cans. Oh wait, that's root beer. Oh Shasta. Anyway, Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. Don't eat the worm. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you. And we'll talk to you next week. And yeah.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye. Ah.